You've got up on the slide the draft summary, and really I've just got to start by saying thank you so much for the entire church congregation for the fantastic support over the last many years, but particularly over 2023 and when we had through the tough times of COVID, and we've come through fantastically. And it's all because of your amazing support for this church. So thank you very much. I think you should start with a sort of applause for yourselves. So well done, everybody. So let me quickly go through some summary items. Our general and other income during the year totaled 156,000, which was a fair bit below 2022 at 190,000. But the thing about 2022, we had one very big one-off gift and a number of other smaller one-off gifts. So it's obviously a drop, but that said, 2022 was quite an exceptional year. So, but that's sort of just to put things into context. And then gift day, the one-off contributions, we did ask for £36,000. We got £23,000. And again, I think that is an absolutely massive and fantastic support for the church. But unfortunately, it was just a bit below what we were hoping for in order to balance the budget in 2023. I should have said at the start of this, you'll notice that these figures are nice and rounded. So I thought I'd try and keep them simple, slightly simpler rather than 222 and 80 pence and stuff like that. So I should put that in at the front there. CC Trust put in another 48,000 in 2023. So for everybody who supports the Christ Church Trust, thank you so much, because really the church couldn't work without the separate funding of Christ Church Trust. So that was a wonderful support by them, and if you do support them, please do continue to support them. It's not my ambit, really, that's Sue D's, but you know, we've got to realise that there is two big supports going into the church, and that's one of them. And then the wonderful cake sale, first week of every month, £2,850 from those cakes, and that all goes to mission giving by the church. So that is a wonderful support. So our general fund cost last year did increase by £5,000 to circa £250,000. But I thought that was a fairly small rise, considering in September our associate minister came back to us and that we had a new intern start. So that 250,000 included the cost for intern, which I'll come to in a minute, which we do try and separately fund by some funding we have. So if we could have the next slide, please, that would be fantastic. So at the end of 2023, our general fund reserves reduced by £13,000 and now stand at £10,700, which is not a very big reserve figure. So in essence, the current account, we were down 13,000, just under 13,000 for 2023. Now we do have another reserve, and I thought I'd try and explain this a little bit, that we call the legacy reserves. And that actually increased by 5,000 and stands at a much healthier £57,800. But the idea of the legacy reserves is much more not for day-to-day operations, but for specific capital projects, or for specific missionary work, or for specific evangelism. So the idea of that money is that we try and use that for a specific purpose. We may have to dip into it from time to time if our general reserves drop, but that's not really what they're there for. So that's where we stood there, and we had some money in that was specifically asked to go to the legacy reserve in 2023. And then we, as you know, we hold a separate fund for our intern position, which started with Kate, and then in September, Yasmin started as our formal intern. So that figure started at 30,000, is now down to £22,600. So we've reduced slightly, but that remaining £22,600 is really meant to support the intern during 24 and sections of 2025. You remember the Christchurch Support Fund, which we put a lot of money into at the end of 2022 and start of 2023. It went up to over 13,500. Well, I'm pleased to say we were able to donate or support people to the tune of £8,000 in 2023 due to your wonderful support. And that residual fund is still up there, still running, and that stands at £5,500 at the moment. We may need to look at that figure if it further drops and how we can possibly support that, but that's where we stand at the moment. And then finally, there is always a separate building fund which we built up over the years to do Christchurch Renewed, and we continue to support and use for specific projects. But in the last year, we also put all our fabric and maintenance costs into that rather than coming out of the general fund. Now that sort of was stable over 2023. It was fairly similar to in and out, and we still have £33,000 worth of work that we could do, say like at the East End driveway or stuff like that, or drain repairs. We've got some problems with the drains. So that's really where we stand on the current position. So if I could have the next slide, please. So this is then getting into the tricky bit. The 2024 budget, because of obviously our increased staffing and rising costs, we anticipate that we will need to expend circa £288,000 when we exclude the intern, which is coming out of that separate fund that I mentioned. Now, Christchurch Trust, in their infinite wisdom and generosity, have decided that they will increase for 2024 only their amount of money to £5,000 a month, which will equate to hopefully £60,000 in a year, providing they have the funds, obviously. They can't totally decimate their funds. So that's a really great shot in our arm. So that means we need to generate £228,000 over this year to balance the books. Hopefully, you always know that we have a gift day at the end of the year. We got £23,000 in 2023. I'm being a bit optimistic, and I've put in circa £27,000 for this year. Hopefully another £3,000 in the wonderful cake sale keeps on going. And again, that money will go to the mission giving. And then I've got £18,000 of other income. Now, what does that mean? Well, first of all, Steve is fantastic at trying to get some grants back for some of his wonderful church children's support. So he tends to get a bit of money from here, there, and everywhere. Don't know how he does it, but he does it, and it's a wonderful thing. And then also, we're really trying to possibly try and ramp up the use of the church for other events, and that will bring in some income. So I've optimistically said 18,000. So you can see these lovely rounded areas. That leaves us 180,000 to get from general monthly giving. So if I could have the final slide, please. So 180,000, that's £15,000 a month, which sounds a lot when you look at it like that. But, you know, we've done it before, and hopefully we can do it again. An awful lot of you do pay and also have gift aided, so we can get the money if you're a taxpayer back. And it makes a huge difference. 20% we can get back on your money that you give us if you gift aid. So please, if you're not in that position at the moment and you want to regularly support us, please do contact us so we can make sure we've got your details, that if you're a taxpayer, we can recover that money. It makes so much difference to us. So the last 3 months, I decided to do a quick review of that in 2023. We're only averaging just under £12,000 a month coming into our general income. So as you can see, 12,000 as against what we need is £15,000 a month. There's a fair gap there, which really does require a 25% increase per month or £3,000 a month. Now that could be just general income, but it also, if there's any one-off gifts that you could think of, any bequests or anything like that, that all goes into that income. It would make a huge difference if you could. So if you can, please consider any one-off gifts or bequests. And again, if you can, you know, try and increase your support. If you can't, you can't. We know there's a huge cost of living crisis, and we do fully appreciate that situation. So, in conclusion, thank you so much for your amazing support over not only last year, but all the years that I've been here. It's been tremendous. And if you can help us, then please do. So, thank you.